Good morning, citizens. It is time to take a break with Drake. It's Friday, July 3rd, 2020. We're almost into phase 3, actually. I don't even know what phase we're in. Goodness gracious. We have a guest on for today's show. Excited to have Drake share more about what's going on in the world as related to the Bible. America's Bible teacher, Dr. Drake Travis.
Today we have on Jeff Hudon. He's a doctor of archaeology. He is someone I was in college with. He is a gentleman. He is a genius, and we're going to go straight to him right now. And here's the story. Are we ready to punch?
I'm ready. Are you ready?
Okay.
Okay.
Let's go there now.
Okay.
Okay, we are here, and it's Jeff Hudon, Dr. Jeff Hudon, PhD. This guy is a real-life archaeologist. Right, Jeff?
Indeed, I am. The older things get, the more I'm interested in them.
And what that means is he was on the ark with no.
We're going to visit the ark here pretty soon in Kentucky.
Yeah,
moved from Ararat to Kentucky. So.
Oh, yeah. It did move from Ararat to Kentucky. When do you go there?
I don't know how they did that, but I'm going to try to figure it out.
So have you been to the Ark site in Turkey? I mean, you've been to the places we're going to talk about just a sec. Have you been to?
Yeah, no, I haven't. My former professor, now colleague, actually is my supervisor at Andrews. He has been to Ararat several times, and he's actually mounting an expedition with a lot of different colleagues and doing a survey, archaeological survey around the mountain.
Okay.
And don't want to get into it too deeply, but there's a lot of incredible stuff he's coming up with. So
I want to go. Can I go? Oh,
you
my
can.
goodness, I've wanted to go forever. He's when we don't know when he's going to Ararat yet.
He is in the, now I won't say greater region right now, but he wants to. I know with the COVID issues, that's halting things. But he plans on doing a Turkey expedition later this year.
This year, that's phenomenal.
If things open up.
We met. When did I went to Simpson? January 1st, 1982. When did you go?
That was fall semester 1982. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So I started one semester before you. You came fall 82. I remember you were on my dorm. You were on my hall.
Yeah, that was. It had to have been my second year.
Oh yeah. I was
Yeah.
okay. I don't mean to call it my hall. It was your hall. It was our hall. But I was a resident assistant in charge of whatever. And yeah, so that was something. You came fall 82. When did you finish high school?
1980.
Okay, yeah, I came 2 years after. Yeah, so, but so we met at. My screen just went kablankety blinkety thing. I had my stuff all clear to tell you, and it's not functioning. Well, we went.
Remember when we had open dorms. Remember we were the psych ward. We lined the mattresses, all of our mattresses along the walls, and yeah. We were handing out. I think it was hot tamales or something for pills.
Oh, college memories. We were crazy, but we had a lot of people get a lot of involved in some really dangerous, reckless, wrong things in college. We had a lot of just really great times with great ideas and all that stuff. It wasn't. We were good kids in college. So, but we went to Israel together December 26th,
1984.
1984, December 26th. I remember the 49ers, because we went from San Francisco. We went from San Francisco to Paris, to Tel Aviv.
Right.
1984, the Niners were in the playoffs. They won the Super Bowl again. And I remember landing in Jerusalem, and I had been virtually awake for 52 hours, traveling 52 hours straight. And I was dying to see Jerusalem all my life. I wake up and say, Drake, there it is. I wake up, I see the glowing city. Cool. Head went back down. But do you have a favorite incident or story from that dorm, or because you ended up going to college there afterward?
Yeah, thanks to our beloved professor, Dr. Glenn Schaefer, that really changed the trajectory of my life, that trip. And I think it did yours too, because we were up, 16, 18 hours a day, and I couldn't get enough. I remember the first morning, of course, jet lag, we were up at 5. I went and watched, the morning prayers at the Western Wall. And when I got back, my then girlfriend, now wife, I said, honey, we got, as soon as we get married, we got to come back. And so in 1988, we actually moved to Israel and lived there 2 years, and I had schooling over there. So.
And so you got a bachelor's at Simpson.
Yeah.
In what?
In history and a minor in Bible.
Okay, I had a major in Bible and a minor in humanities. Then you went and you studied in Jerusalem.
Right, and the school we stayed at, which was then called the Institute of Holy Land Studies, then changed its name to Jerusalem University College, which it is today, right on Mount Zion. A lot of Simpson students went there with Dr. Schaefer, and Pat Hunt came with us too. He was teaching at Simpson at the time, and so yeah, a lot of them had that experience. But I got the bug, and could not get cured, and I had to go back. I just couldn't get enough.
At graduation, I got given a free ride for my first year at Alliance Seminary, Nyack, New York. So I was the dog leash was on me to go there. But when we were in Jerusalem, Jeff, did I want to stay? I wanted to join the army. I wanted to stay. And you have a story, a memory from being on Zion. I mean, I'll tell the one that we did, because we went and climbed the wall one night. We went to the empty tomb at dawn by ourselves. Yeah. To tell us one of the stories. Walk us through Jerusalem on something.
Yeah, from the trip in the Simpson trip, I remember we jogged up the Via Dolorosa. You remember that?
Oh, shoot, yeah.
And there's so many highlights of that trip. It was exhausting, but again, it's just kind of like sensory overload. All your different senses, you're just taking all this in. And but living there for 2 years was incredible too, in that your classroom was the Holy Land. And I took classes from various Israeli professors, and we would take a class. I would sit in on a class of, say, Jerusalem archaeology in the morning. The afternoon, we actually go to the site and see and visit the actual site where that we studied in the morning. That's unprecedented.
Did you have a favorite site like Hatzor or Megiddo or Hebron or Jordan? Is there a site that where you went, wow, we're
Yeah, a number of sites. The site we're actually working at now, I've fallen in love with. And we excavate a site called Kirbet Safra. We don't know the ancient name. It's probably in the Bible, in the Old Testament. But it was a Reubenite site. The tribe of Reuben settled there. This is in the other side of the Holy Land, the eastern side of the Holy Land.
East of the Jordan, yeah.
And the view from that site, Drake, is like it's priceless. It's just a $1 million view, because you see, first of all, you see all the Dead Sea spread out below you, about I'd say maybe 3,000 feet lower. And then you see the wilderness of Judah, the mountains of Judah, and you see all the lights of Jerusalem. We get there at 5 a.m, so it's still dawn. It's still fairly dark out. You see the lights of Jerusalem, Bethlehem, Ramallah, Jericho in the valley, Qumran, where the Dead Sea Scrolls are found. This is all a panoramic view that we see every day from work, and you never get tired of that. It's incredible.
Jeff, if someone wanted to go on you, because I always hear this stuff and I'm thinking, God, I want to go. If someone wanted to go with you, 3,000, they could hop on the trip, or is that allowed? Because you're going with university students. Would you take other students that would help with the archaeology?
Absolutely, yeah. We take volunteers of almost any age. We have high schoolers all the way up to a lady in her late 80s that outworks me.
Oh my.
So anything in between, and they're welcome to come. Fees vary as far as how long you stay, but they can get a hold of me, and if anybody's interested, I can get them hooked up. So
Wow. So you're doing archaeology, and we'll give your email at the end of
yeah,
some.
it's my last name Hudon at andrews.edu.
HUDON at
Andrews.edu.
andrews.edu. Yeah, if someone wants to hop on and sing, and I remember you said that they can stay for 2 weeks or 3 or all 6.
Exactly.
Yeah, wow. And you fly into Tel Aviv or Amman?
We usually fly into Amman, Jordan, and we stay at Madaba, which is a biblical town, and stay at a nice hotel. And our commute is about 30 minutes in the morning, and
Okay.
we're at our site, and you are dealing with tangible biblical history when you're holding pottery and artifacts, uncovering walls, doorways, finding arrowheads and just all sorts of goodies. And you're holding
Yeah.
in your hands biblical history from the period of the Judges. It's a
This,
city that was built during the time of the Judges.
so
Early
this
Judges.
is 1300 BC.
Yeah, it's not. It's more like, I would say, late 13th century. Maybe we could say 1200.
1200s. Yeah. So this is so for you folks that are listening, this is about 200 years before King David shows up.
Exactly.
It's about 200 years after Moses passed the torch to Joshua, and Joshua took over the country. So it's right in that period in between. You can go on this dig with Jeff, and you can see where Ruth and Naomi were, and read the book of Ruth. Read the book of Ruth today, and tell yourself, hey, I could go here. I could do this. I could be on site with Dr. Jeff here. And you guys, this stuff, everything changes in your life when you start seeing it. Think of now, the sun comes up, and the sun comes up behind you when you're looking over the Jordan toward up in the hills, and you can see Judah, lights of Jerusalem, Bethlehem. And then the sun sets with those outlines of those cities on the horizon, correct?
Yeah, exactly. The first Friday night we're in Jordan, we have Vespers service on Mount Nebo. And remember, in the book of Deuteronomy, this is where God showed Moses the entire Holy Land, and before he took him. And so we watch the sun set over Jerusalem and welcome the Sabbath in at that point, and then the lights come on. You can see the lights of Jericho, and then Jerusalem, Ramallah, and all these cities on the skyline, and it's incredibly quiet. But you can see all the way from En-Gedi all the way north, halfway to Galilee. It's just an incredible vista.
But now, people,
that's just the first evening.
That's the first evening. Now, En-Gedi is where David hid from Saul. And when you're standing where Jeff is talking about it, En-Gedi is off to your left a little bit. And it's an oasis in the desert that pours into the Dead Sea. And then sweeping to your right, you go all the way up the Jordan Valley, and you can see up to Galilee, which is also 700, 800 feet below sea level.
Sea of Galilee, yeah. I don't know the exact. It is below sea level, though.
Yeah,
Dead Sea is about 1,400 feet.
Yeah, about 1,400 feet below sea level is the Dead Sea, and then Galilee.
Lowest point on Earth.
What's that?
It's the lowest point on Earth.
Yeah, I mean, this point is so low, it's lower than my GPA. I mean, do you realize how low that is? All right, I'm goofing again. I got to get serious, Jeff. So this is amazing. So your family, I mean, is your family, your wife and you studied in Jerusalem? Has your family been to Jerusalem with you, or Israel, Jordan? And
yeah, we have 5 children, and kind of make a long story short, all the children have been with me to and dug in the Holy Land, except my youngest, or my two youngest rather. My son was going to go with us this year, but we had to cancel because of COVID. But my oldest three have gone. All three of my oldest daughters have gone, and one has gone twice, and
Wow.
spent 6 weeks in the Holy Land.
That's awesome. Yeah, all of our children have been to the mission field with us, and yeah, it's a good thing to. So you have a degree in history and Bible from Simpson. You have a master's degree from Jerusalem University College, and where?
Right.
Explain where that school is, Jeff.
Well, it's an old Ottoman Anglican school called the Bishop Gobat School, but it couldn't be better located. It's right on, I kid you not, Mount Zion, which is really the western hill of Jerusalem,
Wow.
just outside the old city. And you've been there, of course, and you're within steps of the upper room, within steps of the house of Caiaphas, and just biblical sites all around. And we lived there for 2 years, and studied mostly under Israeli professors, and did a master's degree in biblical history there. Fantastic opportunity.
Gee whiz. So in this school, I remember when Jeff and I were there, we were hallmates, roommates, and you feel like you're the Apostle Paul ducking through these arched stone in little corridors and playing tag. One morning, Jeff and I, we kind of woke up, and we were up earlier than everybody else. We said, "Hey, let's go!" Pull our shoes on and just took off and went, and we're in the empty tomb at sunrise. I remember the first beam of light came and hit the far wall, and it felt like Mary and them came before light. And when that beam hit the far wall, I thought I was going to hyperventilate. And I said, I remember saying, "Jeff, can you believe it?" And you said, "Don't say a word." And I thought, that's better than what I said. And so we sat there and took it in. I remember reading Revelation 22 on top of the wall with you one of the final nights before we left. Is that was it you? Yeah, it was you and me, right?
Yeah, I think we did something a little kind of borderline illegal, didn't we? We climbed over, it was at the Citadel, we climbed over they had a railing there that we weren't supposed to cross, and we got on the wall that way. I don't know.
You and I did something illegal?
But, I know we walked on the parapet. Well, not, it was kind of stretching things a little bit, but.
Yeah. I think today you plunk a little coin in the slot, and then you get let in up into a certain time. And I walked the wall last winter, not 5 months ago, but last winter, I walked the entire wall. And what a thrill to do that and see that and take that and read passages that pertain to here and there and everywhere. It's
where you're at.
Yeah, that's awesome. So degree from Simpson, degree from Jerusalem University. You went to Pasadena. Was Pasadena next?
Yeah, I went to Fuller Seminary and did a master's in theology, but that was at Seattle. They had an extension school at Seattle, which is now closed. But I'm from Seattle, Washington. So I went there, and then I had the desire to teach, and found out that you can't teach without a PhD.
Oh.
And so kind of midlife, our family picked up and moved from Washington State to Michigan in 2007. It sounds crazy, but we did it. And I enrolled at Andrews University and did my PhD there in Near Eastern archaeology and Old Testament exegesis. So. Oh
my goodness! Did you do those ancient languages, Akkadian and Sanskrit and Ugaritic and?
No, I did. Of course, I did Hebrew. The only other language I really got a chance to do was some Egyptian hieroglyphs, Middle Egyptian. But just between you and me, I forgot most everything. So
wait a minute, Jeff.
Hold it.
Do you know how to walk like an Egyptian?
It was a lot of fun. We were translating Egyptian inscriptions by the end of the semester, but
Oh my goodness, that's great.
yeah.
I remember being there in Karnak, up to Nile, up where the 10 plagues took place. And, we always got to remember that when Moses bugged Pharaoh, he used real bugs. But when we were up there, Dr. Pat Hunt, who's at Stanford now, he could read the Egyptian stuff.
Yeah.
I thought, dude, what do you know, 7 languages? We got some really good instruction there. It was very, very impressive. So anyhow, so you got a PhD in Near Eastern history and Old Testament exegesis. Did you start, how much later were you teaching at Andrews?
That again, Drake, I'm sorry.
Oh, it went bubbly? Yeah, you got a degree, you got a PhD in ancient history, or archaeology, the ancient Near East, and then how much later were you teaching at Andrews?
I was actually teaching there as an adjunct before I graduated, shortly after I started, and taught mostly in the undergrad part of the university, and started going to Jordan in 2009, working at sites. Andrews has really 3 sites in Jordan that we work at. And then I started working at Bethel College in Mishawaka, Indiana, just across the border from Michigan, which is now Bethel University. And then just the last year, I've been working or teaching at Grace College in Winona Lake. A lot of history there from an evangelical standpoint. So yeah, I'm teaching at 3 different institutions and working at the Institute of Archaeology at Andrews. But I just want to say that, and you know this well, the humanities colleges have suffered over the last few years, especially now with COVID, but humanities especially, and there just simply isn't any jobs. And it was disheartening. I was crestfallen, but you put all that effort and all that training, and I was, in my 50s, looking for work and just nothing out there, and applied, but nothing. So we're grateful. I mean, I had these great visions of being a professor and teaching, and I do that, but it's kind of an unorthodox way. I'm a secretary for the Institute, a staff archaeologist, research associate, and then I teach as an adjunct, but not as a full-time professor. But we do get to have the fun. So I get to go over every year and lead tours. We tour on the weekends and then work Sunday through Thursday at the site. And so I'm grateful and thankful to God that I'm living my dream. But it's kind of an unorthodox way of doing it. So
well, sure. Hey, all good things are unorthodox. A lot of good things are unorthodox. So your next trip was going to be next week,
right? We were going to spend 6 weeks in our site in Jordan, and then and then come back. But that was canceled because of course, of COVID.
Coronavirus suspended that. So will you have another one scheduled, or when's your next trip over there?
Yeah, we're going next May. No, next May 2021, May to June, early May to middle June.
Okay, and then like we said, and I really want to make this clear to people, they can go for 2 weeks or 3 weeks or the whole trip, right?
Right. Yeah. It's we charge per week. And I don't want to give any figures now because I'm not authorized to do that. But if people are interested, they can email me and I can give them more details.
Yeah, we've got a couple minutes left. We'll give your email at the end again. So if they stay longer, the price per week goes down because the airfare has got to get factored in. So you could go there and stay 1 week, and the price isn't a whole lot less than if you stay all 6.
Yeah, well, the price that we charge is for hotels, transportation, food, all your on the ground expenses. So those remain constant. But yeah, you don't want to fly over there and spend a week and then fly back.
Yeah.
2 weeks minimum, but more than that, 6 weeks is ideal. I know a lot of people can't do that, but we see just incredible amount of sites in every weekend. We'll go to the Dead Sea. We'll see where Jesus was baptized. Very exciting, fairly new site. They found exactly where he was baptized.
Oh my.
Bethany beyond Jordan. Petra, which is just surreal. It's one of the World Heritage sites. Fantastic site. And medieval castles, Old Testament sites, New Testament sites. We see where Uriah was killed
David,
when he was attacking the Ammonites,
right,
when
Bathsheba.
David sent him out, Bathsheba's husband.
Yeah.
Elijah's hometown. Yeah. We walk down streets of these pristine Roman cities. You see the grooves in the pavement from chariots. Cities that are known from the New Testament, Decapolis cities like Jerash, Gerasa, and Gadara, and Kais today, but just incredible opportunities.
Do you, on your days off, do you get clear up to Galilee?
We do. Now we work in Jordan, so what we usually do is we go to Israel after the dig, and of course that's a separate deal, but we'll stay in Jerusalem for 5 days, usually at JUC, and tour that. But we see, we read the parable of the lost son from a site overlooking the Sea of Galilee, and you can see Syria, and you can, the last few years we've been able to actually hear distant artillery with the civil war going on there. But we see the Golan Heights, Syria, Israel. You see Mount Tabor, where you can read about in Judges 4 and 5, and you can see Tiberias and the Sea of Galilee, and all from one site. It's incredible.
Now you've been to the site where Moses took his last gander at Israel before God says, "No, you just get to see it." But Joshua goes in. You're done now. That's Ebal Gerizim.
That's Mount Nebo.
Yeah, Nebo.
Yeah.
So you've okay. This isn't Finding Nebo, right? That's Finding Nemo.
We usually find it. Yeah.
So each time you go there, you're always finding Nebo. That's really great. So you've been in this area that you do, I guess, a plurality of your digging activity. This is the area where Ruth and Naomi were.
Right. Ruth was from Moab, as you remember.
Yeah.
And our site is in northern Moab. And so we're digging in Ruth's home country, but yet, like this last summer, we excavated the city gate. And it was fairly preserved condition. We could see the gate chambers, the threshold into the city, and benches. And of course, in the biblical world, the elders of the city, the Zedekim, or the righteous ones, would sit on these benches and judge cases.
Mm.
And so those benches were intact, still there. And so we could sit on these benches and look across the Rift Valley, look across the Arava, the Dead Sea, and see Bethlehem on the horizon where those events took place. And we're sitting on benches from the time of Ruth. And so that's pretty cool.
That's pretty poignant too, because these are 3,200, 3,300-year-old things. You experience this, unearth it, and you're in charge of the dig?
No, I'm staff, but our director is one of my colleagues. His name's Dr. Paul Greger, and he's a director, and he's one of the professors at Andrews.
Wow. So you experience it, and then you go across, and you kind of take the same route that Ruth and Naomi did when Mahlon and Chilion died. They went down to the Dead Sea, crossed the Jordan, climbed the hills to Judean wilderness, and went to Bethlehem. You do the same thing.
Yeah, we don't know where they're from in Jordan. It could have been farther south, which they would have crossed at the ford of the Dead Sea, the Lisan. But yeah, the destination was the same for sure.
That's amazing. Folks, if you would like to join this and experience Jeff and his knowledge, he's just got a great spirit about him. I really came to love this guy, and we love his whole family. We haven't met all of those kids yet, but HUDON at andrews.edu. You can inquire, you can go, and you can be a part of this biblical event. It's really tremendous stuff. Thanks so much, Jeff.
Great to see you, Drake. Great to be on and share with your audience. So
yeah, so we ran down Masada, we ran to the empty tomb. You can do this too. So until next time, we will see you on Monday. Thanks so much. This is your Break with Drake. We've been with Dr. Jeff Hudon. The Lord bless you and keep you. Amen.
Amen.